The 5 E's is a great model to engage your students in their learning, and it just helps kind of organize an idea and way to motivate and again have your students learn, but also go into detail when it comes to elaborating on their learning. So, right here is a roadmap, and on this roadmap, you can see that there are different numbers at the top of here. Each of these cover in a different E, so engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So for this lesson, there's only 5 to follow each of those different 5 E's. What I like to do is to help students focus in is I like to kind of have an on-pace goal. So for this example, their goal is to get to the explain stage at the end of this lesson. By the end of class, we're going to have the last 15 minutes to do a real talk discussion, which is linked here. This blog post will go over that. And then I want a conference. So these maybe are the students that I want to check in with or conference with during that class period. And so I might just put right here who I want to conference with to meet with those different students. And then also, what I might want to do is I want to have my students turn certain things in the red by the bin. So I'm able to place reminders in this box as well, just to kind of help students focus in. So with this is the Wesleyan Games. What students did is they completed this popcorn predictions. So this is an EB academics activity, and what students do is they have different quotes from the book. And on those different quotes from the book, students then do kind of like a think, pair, share. So they get a quote and they read their quote. They then will make their prediction number one in this box. After they make their first prediction, students will go on to the next partner and they're going to share their quote, but now they have another textual evidence that they're receiving from their partner. So now, with those two quotes, they're going to make their second prediction. And this continues along the way until the timer or the boxes are complete. And then at the very end, students will make their final prediction. So that first E is engage. So that was an example of how to engage your students in this reading. So they haven't started this book. And so what you're able to do is you're able to engage them by providing them with this popcorn prediction activity where they are starting to see different things from the book and they're starting to make predictions to kind of go, oh, I wonder if this is what the book is about, or I wonder if this is what the book is about. Then what happens next is there's a gallery walk. So here are all of the different characters from the book. And what is also included next to these photos is these descriptions. So right next to them is just a quick description about who this person is. In this book, it has a lot of different characters. So again, the students are starting to explore the book. They're starting to get introduced to the characters. And then they're going to do an edu protocol, which is sketch and tell. So with that sketch and tell, they're going to write who the character is, and they're going to choose just a few of the characters. They're not going to do all of the characters. Then they're going to write a quick description, and then they're going to draw that character. So again, they're going to do that gallery walk as they're exploring this new content. So when we're engaging the students, we're grabbing their attention, but now when we explore, we're starting to have the students learn a little bit more about the content that they are going to learn. Then with the explain. So what I've had is I've had a teacher use Edpuzzle and she will read the chapters to the students, but she also pauses and adds thoughts within the chapter, or she'll add audio sounds. So, for example, there was a fire truck in maybe like one of the books that she was reading. That siren would go off during that chapter, and she would kind of pause. So, students are visualizing, they're able to hear it, they're able to see it, and she's kind of adding like a multi-sensory approach to this. So, I love what she's doing here. So, I think this could be applied to this book or this novel. I think it could also be applied for multiple different things as well when we're teaching our students and we're just explaining different concepts. I think videos could go here. I think students could meet small group with you. A lot of different options when we're at that explain. What students are also going to do is this activity called Real Talk Discussion, and this is a great blog post about it. But basically, what students do is they have post it notes. And on their post it notes, they're jotting down questions, quotes, observations, connections, style, and vocabulary. And again, this is from the Code of Pedagogy. She did a podcast with one of the EB educators, Jessica, and it was a fantastic episode. So I highly suggest you listen to it. But what is happening here is, again, those questions. And I love the question stems. How, what if, why. And this can help students develop their talking points for the discussion that they're about to have. So students are taking what they're reading and they're creating their own discussion questions rather than you creating the discussion questions for them. Then what will happen is students will discuss, and there are agree, disagree, and all of these other possibilities that students are able to use when they are discussing with their group. And so that's why on here, I had that students need to finish within the last 15 minutes because that's what we're going to do that last 15 minutes. We're going to come back whole group and we are going to have that discussion. So if students are ahead of pace, that's okay. They're going to pause and come back to the box 3. If students are behind pace, we're going to try to get them caught up um, before that last 15 minutes. And so that's where they might be conferencing with me and I might be kind of helping them or guiding them through these activities together. And then choice board. So right here is that elaborate choice board. And I love one pagers. One pagers are where students are going to take quotes, images, and they're going to create like kind of a poster or one page about what they're reading or what they're learning about. And so that is one option that the students will do to elaborate on their learning. Another thing is maybe it's an Instagram because there's so many characters in the Westing games. Students might pick out a character and add them here, and then they can do their top 3 posts that they just posted about, a quick bio about them, and then they can justify all of these reasons to go even further. So I did this with a group, and I love their reasonings when it came to this Instagram activity. Another activity is maybe they build a map of what the Westing Games looks like, or they create like a visual of what they're learning about. So again, elaborating can take it to that next steps for your students to kind of make sure that their learning is concrete. And then evaluate. So then when it comes to evaluating, I might have the students complete a response to literature. So they might pick one of these questions, and then I have my mastery check where I'm able to quickly check my rubric on where they're at. And if they've mastered it, they can keep moving. If they haven't, then they're not yet able to keep moving. But this is just a great way to get students to kind of show me that they have read it, that they understand, and that they have been able to master it. Also, what I love about this exit ticket is if they haven't, then they'll just pick another question from the box and they will have to answer that question to answer. And they'll have to use that textual evidence as well. So, this is an example again of those 5 E's where they will engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and then evaluate.